A little more than that, maybe. Just to talk about two specific names. Now, these are essentially with regards to MSCI, which made some changes about 11 trading sessions back. Two stocks in India get impacted meaningfully. I mean, actually quite meaningfully. One was Grasim, the other is Tech Mahindra. The changes to the MSCI index are as of today's close, which is the 28th close, market close at 3:30. What happens is that passive funds, ETFs, etc., would realign, which track MSCI as their benchmark, would align their portfolio and buy these shares in the proportion that these stocks have got weightage in the MSCI index. And all of that would happen is typically in the last 30 minutes of trade. So between 3 and 3:30, you would see humongous amount of activity. I mean, funds would do that to reduce tracking error, etc., because they have to follow. They have to closely align themselves to, as closely as possible, to the underlying indices, the MSCI index in this case. But so let's just focus on two stocks. One is Grasim. Now, this was the most meaningfully impacted stocks, one of the two most meaningfully impacted stocks. There are 2 crore shares have been marked for delivery since the MSCI announcement has been made. 2 crore shares. If you look at how much Grasim stock was to be bought for the Grasim's weight in the MSCI index to be what MSCI said it was 1.2 crore shares. So approximately 1.2 crore shares had to be bought for the change to get impacted. Shares marked for delivery since the MSCI announcement has been made is 2 crore shares. The point I'm making is all of the buying has already been made. Typically how this would function is funds, others are in the market who would typically play this arbitrage would buy all the stock, and on the day that change is effected, which is today in this case, would deliver it to ETFs who would essentially come to buy. So and the point here is that a lot more of that stock has been bought. So even if there is a price spike as these passive funds come to buy the stock, it is likely to be calmed by the excess supply which is already going to be there. The other is Tech Mahindra. If you can quickly put the same graphics up. I mean, same argument. About 2.5 crore shares have been marked for delivery since the MSCI announcement was made. The number of shares which have to be bought for this change to take place is only 1.4 odd crore shares or so. So again, excess shares have been bought, which should be delivered and which should keep prices under a firm lid. So I don't think, you usually see these big spikes. We've seen very large spikes in some cases. I don't think you're going to see this because this is well advertised. A lot of people have bought the stock and they're just going to sort of hand it over to the guys who are going to come to buy between 3 and 3:30 p.m. today. So keep an eye. I think stocks are already reflecting that. Grasim is down, for example. It's very unusual to see that on MSCI day for this to happen. Tech Mahindra isn't doing very much. It's up about 1% or so. Ekta.
Okay, all right.